stand between me and Julie.
Where's it going, Miss
And
Nick?
Julie and I have a convenient gap between us. And for her first trick,
Barbara's just preparing to show us some garments from the Knitting and Crochet Guild archive. Barbara's in charge of the publications section of the Knitting and Crochet Guild, but has access to the collection as well, and has brought along a load of picture knits. So we're going to see some vintage picture knits, specifically from UK history, I think most of them. Okay? All of them.
Okay, right, well, welcome everybody. It's good to see at least one person is wearing a picture knit. Can we have a shot of Maureen?
It's not.
Is Maureen wearing ducks?
Wearing ducks.
Fantastic, they look great.
So, I brought a selection of things from the collection. We've got a lot of picture knits in the collection. I think at least 3 boxes labelled picture knits.
Oh, loads.
Loads. This, I think, is the oldest one that we've got, or one of the oldest. And it's a Mary Maxim jacket from the 1950s. Now, Mary Maxim was, and still is, a Canadian company that sells knitting patterns and knitting yarn. And they became very well known in the 1950s for these chunky knits with designs with pictures in, mostly sort of sporting themes and nature themes. So this is the yacht sweater, I think it's called. We don't have this pattern, but we have a lot of Mary Maxim designs, knitting patterns in the collection. I think the yarn and the patterns were imported into this country. And it's a mixture of stranded knitting and some intarsia. So the yarns are done in intarsia, and the border and this bit here are done in stranded knitting. And that's typical of their patterns. Now this particular design, the yacht design, was featured in an article in the Daily Telegraph the year before last, because they wrote a piece about 2 brothers, twin brothers, who were 15 in 1959, and their mother knitted them each a Mary Maxim cardigan. One of them was this yacht design, and the other one had a buffalo on. And in 2014, they were still wearing these cardigans, and they were still in good condition, as indeed this one is, but of course it's not being worn continuously.
It's very heavy yarn.
It's very heavy yarn. It's very chunky. All the Mary Maxim patterns that we've got, there are patterns for men, women, and children. They're all sort of the same basic structure. They've got a zip, they've got a shawl collar, they've got a chart for the colour work, and you can either do it in raglan with a raglan sleeve or a satin sleeve.
Yeah, let's have a look at the back.
Yeah, this is a very, very neatly done.
So this is the standard section.
Well. So here are a couple of the Mary Maxim patterns that we've got. I've got one of them. What, the fish?
No, it's got aeroplanes on it.
Oh yeah, aeroplanes. Yeah, that's quite typical. So this is one. So it shows the guy wearing his jacket, carrying a fishing rod, and he's got these big fish on the back and the front. And can I turn over? Yep. There's another one. This one's got a totem pole on. And in fact, there's a photograph I found on the web of Bob Hope wearing a totem pole Mary Maxim cardigan. They're 1950s basically. Although they're still in business. They've branched out into other yarns as well, I believe. So I don't know how long they sold this kind of thing for. And they're Cowichan style. So the Cowichan people are some of the first peoples tribes in Vancouver Island, I think, the west coast certainly of Canada, and they still knit very thick cardigans with these chunky patterns, pictorial patterns. The Cowichans use natural sheep colours, whereas Mary Maxim has a whole range of yarn colours. But there are similarities in the designs. And if you can see over here, at the same time, Patons issued similar designs. And they had a yarn called Big Ben, which was also very thick. And you could knit the similar kind of thick cardigans in Big Ben. And this particular cardigan here was based, the design, the pattern, was based on an actual garment which is in the Coke archive, which we've got in the Guild collection. So I'm not quite sure where the original cardigan came from, but that's where the original idea for this pattern came from. Okay, I'll put that down. Right, next one. So that was the 1950s, and then we kind of skip on. There were lots of children's patterns with pictures on.
Is that Postman Pat?
Yeah. It is Postman Pat. And I don't know where his black and white cat's got to, but you could actually knit his black and white cat, and Postman Pat himself, in fact. So these were two patterns. One for the jumper or a little pullover with Postman Pat's van on, or there's an alternative design with Postman Pat and his cat. So I think this was a popular pattern. We've got lots of copies of it, and certainly Steph, who goes to Lydia's knitting group, remembers knitting it for her children. So I think for a long time, picture knits were confined to knitting for children. It was sort of, you know,
Yeah.
it was appropriate to have a slightly jokey knit for a child. And I like this one. I think it's very jolly. And it's really nicely knitted. It's got these little dots of red all over.
They must be stranded,
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
like Norwegian lice.
And then the clown on the back with a bit of embroidery for his eyes and so on. I think it's possible. I'm not sure it would work for a kid, a small child, to have something interesting going on the back of their cardigan. I think they'd find that a bit.
Light though, isn't it? In front of the cardigan.
It's very sweet.
Yes, it's got buttons with balloons on as well.
Yes,
Which is nice.
it has little.
Yes.
If you can see
So
the
it's
detail.
really nice. But then we get to the 1980s, ta-da! And all of a sudden, everybody was wearing picture knits. Actually, I never
had one either.
It's a Yorkshire scene, isn't it? That's got to be a Yorkshire scene.
They are sheep. Yeah, there was a sort of subgenre of landscapes, and so this is the actual pattern for that one. Sirdar pattern.
Cumbria.
And
Cumbria are okay. We'll let them have it.
well, I don't
But
know.
they aren't Herdwicks.
We had a Christmas card from our friends in Penrith who said they now live in the lake.
Oh dear.
Well, that sort of landscape is very typical, you know, clouds across the sky, blue sky, a bit of hill or mountain or something like that, and some foreground interest. And here's another very popular version of the same thing, a Poppleton's pattern, a bit more emphasis on the house, but again, clouds in a blue sky, green grass, etc. So that's those two patterns. And just to show, that's not quite the same. This was a popular booklet issued by ITV, the ITV Book of Knitting Patterns, and there again, this is Mary Parkinson wearing a picture knit, a landscape knit, again, cloud, blue sky, a few conifers, bit of water.
As in Parkinson's wife?
Yeah.
I believe so.
In the original chat show host. Oh, okay.
Yeah. This one's quite nice because it's actually got some of the pattern on the sleeves, whereas the other two have just got plain sleeves. So this is a bit more thought out, really, or you know, the pattern is carried through a bit more thoroughly. And somewhere I have another one which was designed by Sandy Black. If I can lay my hands on that one.
What's nice about these sheets is they've got shadows, and it just gives depth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, here we are.
Well spotted.
Womancraft. Womancraft with a splendid magazine that told you how to build brick walls and do some knitting as well.
How to build brick walls, fantastic.
Well, this one has things like all about freezing, beautiful bathrooms, restoring wood, and you could knit a pigeon sweater designed by Sandy Black.
What date is that? This
is 19. I think it's 1980s.
You could upcycle coat hangers and a tomato crate into a pram for your little girl's Christmas present.
It's 1981, and so again, there's a Sandy Black picture sweater with a landscape, more sheep, slightly three-dimensional sheep in this case, and the rest of the elements of the landscape. So I put that bookmark in so you can look at it later. And if you've been to Lydia's shop lately, you'll have seen that sweater, which is in the window, which has got proper fly agaric, if that's how you pronounce it, toadstools, red and white. And
oh, that's lovely. Super cute.
And a rather peculiar looking rabbit.
It's probably had a taste of the fly agaric.
And actually, this again has got a nice back view with the back of the rabbit. And his ears sticking out.
Oh, yes. It's burrowed through the wearer.
Yeah. So these landscapes were very popular. What have we got next? Oh, right. Especially for Mary, is the willow pattern.
Oh, so good. It's just fabulous.
And this again.
This is my favourite.
Wow.
I love it.
Yes.
Again, we've got the pattern. And
Mary
if
loves
you,
blue.
if you notice, the sweater is reversed from the pattern, and that's because it's machine knitted, and something about translating from a hand knitted pattern to a machine knitted pattern means that you switch the pattern round. Don't know why, but there we are.
Obviously, no.
It's really nicely done, and there's a bit of embroidery as well. So these
little bits.
the flowers are chain stitches.
Oh, yes.
On the tree. But it's got all the elements of the willow, the traditional willow pattern.
Yes.
Plate, I think.
So we've got the bridge with the three people on the bridge.
And I like the way on the pattern the model has got
I
these
think
missing
the colours.
oh,
It's all
my
blue.
hair.
Colours are good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oriental image. Although I think it's actually Japanese geishas that have
Knitting needles in there.
pins through their hair.
Yes, you're quite right, Barbara.
Anyway, you know, it's kind of far reach. Right, what have we got now? Oh, yes.
Another
I
piece.
hope you all looked, did your homework, and looked on YouTube.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my favourite, cherry bean.
So the story of this is, the TV advert came first. So De Kuiper decided to make this advert, and so there's this woman putting on a cherry brandy sweater, which is designed to look like a cherry brandy bottle. So it's green for the green of the glass, and the rest of it looks like the label. And in fact, the original pattern and the one in the TV ad, it does have the neck label around the collar. So all the elements of a cherry brandy bottle are represented in the sweater. So they showed this, TV ad, and so it was. I can't sing along. Anybody feel?
Cherry brandy.
Cherry baby, to the tune of Cherry baby.
Yes.
And the woman who's putting the sweater on is gorgeous, isn't she?
Oh yeah. She's got all that red hair. It's on YouTube. Yes. Oh right. Did you know? Oh well. If you got my email about this meeting,
Did, but I probably didn't
there was
read
a
it
link.
all, Barbara.
Well, this is what we find, yes. You can send people an email, but you can't make them read it. Yeah, so the YouTube, the advert is still there on YouTube, and you can see this woman putting on her sweater. And it was such a popular ad, lots of people wrote to De Kuiper and said, could they have the pattern for the sweater? Well, of course, they hadn't got a pattern for the sweater. All they'd got was, you know, they'd asked somebody to knit a sweater, and then they got the sweater, and they made the ad, and that was the end of it as far as they was concerned. So they went to Wendy and said, would Wendy do this pattern? And so that's what we've got here.
This is duplicate stitched as well, isn't it? This is
Yes,
Swiss stamp.
it
Yeah,
appears to be.
The lettering is.
Yes, it looks like that. And I think
Most of it's intarsia with the lettering.
yeah, the gold is not actually a Wendy yarn. I don't think they made a gold yarn at the time. I think it might be Georges Picard. Yes. So before we move on, I just mentioned, so picture knits were so popular that a lot of companies issued knitting patterns, basically advertising their products for you to knit. So you could knit an advert, which is a bit of a strange idea, if you ask me. So, for instance, we have a Sturgeon sweater. So this is the knitting pattern, and there was an ad that goes with it. It's actually quite subtle because, of course, it doesn't say Sturgeon in big letters all over it or anything. I mean, and I don't quite know what the connection is between an elephant and Sturgeon.
Washing people used to use
Can you
Sturgeon
see?
as a washing.
No, it was special for women.
Yeah.
Yes, it was made by Little Brothers, but I think it's been bought since then.
Lever Brothers have anything to do with elephants?
Not to know of, no. And here's one with the Bisto kids.
Oh.
You could knit a sweater that says, Bisto on the back.
That's quite nice.
Close. I see
Yes.
Bisto kids on the front.
Yeah. And there's one, there was an advertising campaign for British Telecom which used a character called Busby, and you could knit a Busby.
Oh, I remember Busby, gosh.
You could knit a Busby sweater. So it was really a good trick, you know, to get people to knit an advert
Yes.
without it costing you anything apart from
Yeah.
the cost of the pattern. Very clever. This is another one, advertising coal, the benefits of coal. So you can knit a sweater that says, only a real coal fire will do.
You heard about the knitted upgrade feather planet?
The knitted...
ITV, you know, they do this annual telephone thing called Text Santa. During that programme, they're going to have a series of adverts, one of the ad breaks where every advert is knitted stuff. So it's the characters are knitted, the scenery is knitted, and so on.
They did Lego arts last year.
About it on the Facebook group.
I've got some Christmas wrapping paper that is knitted, you know, like Santa Claus and Snowman. I don't
Right. So next we've got two or three designer
This weighs a ton.
knits. And here we have the Ribblehead Violet.
Gosh, that's a big one. Hogwarts fans.
And
Here you are.
so it's all in natural
That's
colours.
the bridge on which the Hogwarts train
I was picturing it
famously
skirts.
passes.
Yeah.
That's pretty great then.
Carlisle one.
So it's partly a demonstration of all the different shades or some of the different shades you can get in natural
You
sheet.
know that slightly bumpy look between the arches of the...
Yeah.
Is that deliberate or is that the sort of Impartianness of it?
I'm not quite sure how that's done without
Because I
burrowing
have a
inside.
sweater which I
No,
might
it is
donate
intarsia.
to
It
Your
might.
collection.
a heraldic dogs one from one of the Rowan books, and mine's got loads of bumpy bits in it like that. And
It
I've
is
had
intarsia.
since.
It seems to be something to do with the way the colours are changed over, which is why you get a bit of the brown showing through on the white cream.
It's lovely though, isn't it?
No, it's not there. I mean, you could do that. You could do the viaduct in stranded knitting, but it's actually not. It's
Be
intarsia.
carrying it over a lot of stitches there, wouldn't it? About
It'd be very bulky and such thick yarn if it was standard.
Have you got three colours there as well? Is that, or is it just
Well,
two
eventually,
on
yes. Over there.
Who's designed this one?
This is actually designed and I think made by a woman called Sandra Inskip.
Oh, I knew Sandra.
Oh well, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh, bless her.
And so we've got Ribblehead Viaduct, Skipton Castle, and one of the gates of
York. One of them. Castlegate, is it? Or one of those?
I don't know, Micklegate Bar maybe.
I wonder if it's handspun then, because she was in the Weaver Spinners and Dyers Guild,
sorry.
Bradford Guild. That's how I knew her.
The next one is amazing. How to be amazed.
Woo! My favourite.
Oh, we're back to the hill.
Oh, it's so sweet!
So it's got some.
That is
It's got some
integral gloves.
integral mitten. Yes.
But can you get that
Let's
The
just
wrong way round. You'd be twisting.
yeah, you can
inside?
around in the back.
So you can also do a sort of talking salmon act. The other thing is that
Wrong way.
if you had it on,
You'd have to
You could do a kid's party with that.
Fancy being cuddled by somebody in that.
I mean, the other thing is that it's enormous. I mean,
Is it the same on the back?
Yes.
It's huge.
It's really huge, isn't it?
So we have salmon leaping up a waterfall, I think.
We're just looking at some jumpers
say-
from the
say-
Knitting and
say on the
Crochet
back.
Guild collection in Tarsia method knitting. Just
So-
answering some questions on the screen, excuse me.
Oh, right.
People asking questions.
Asking questions.
Right.
Somebody watching this.
Oh yes, there are people
Now,
watching.
the label in this one says an original by Essie of Yorkshire, and I wonder if Essie, E-S-S-I, is also Sandra Inskip. You know, based on the initials SI.
Maybe.
I wonder. Is that a spinning wheel on it?
Yeah.
That makes
yes.
me think yes, because she was a spinner.
Right.
So
yeah.
that was her name. She was a textile designer, very definitely. So
There's
and very
some-
innovative as
Was she
well.
Yorkshire
This would be classic for her because
Right.
she had got
Yeah.
a great sense of humour.
Yes,
She
she's
created some amazing
Are
things.
they pots?
Weaves as well as knits.
I
No,
don't know
trees.
I don't know what these are supposed to be. There's sort of these little arrowhead shapes in the background. In stocking stitch on reverse stocking stitch.
Jellyfish.
I don't think they're jellyfish. Well, they're very definite arrowheads.
Yeah. They're interesting, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So there we are. And then also another designer knit.
Close up of the mitten, the integral mitten. Oh my word! Oh, good God!
Is that the original colourway from the pattern?
Whose is
Believe-
this?
This is Kaffe Fassett.
This is a Kaffe Fassett design.
It's called
Right.
Foolish Virgins.
Ah,
And it's apparently based on a 17th century Norwegian tapestry. And I think it might have been a kit because a lot of the ones you see have got those particular fastenings, which I think they're actually they're
Norwegian
common in
style
Norwegian
clasps, yeah.
knitting as well.
Keith donated this, didn't he?
No,
Oh, that's
not this
not
one.
this one.
No.
Was that the waist?
It's been published in lots of places. It's including one of the Rowan magazines and one of his books, and other places too. I think the original one, which this may be, was knitted in a range of Rowan cotton. It feels to be cotton anyway.
Yes.
And I did find something. I did find something about it on the web, and somebody has said about it.
Foolish Virgins.
I like the pattern on the bottom.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
I'm waving it about.
I saw it originally in a Rowan folded, probably only 4 or it might have been 8 pattern pamphlet, not pamphlet, but you know,
Yeah,
a sheet,
yeah,
folded
yeah.
sheet rather than a book.
Mm.
And I think the colours looked a lot more subdued than
I have seen it in
I
a
like
much
the drama of the black with
But I've also seen several like this.
But the subdued colours in the original may just be because of age
Yes.
and soot from fires and things like that. A
just
lot
a
of things that
nice
look
touch, isn't it?
subdued in colour to our modern eyes were very, very vibrant originally.
So
And just
somebody-
age has darkened them so much.
No,
that they
well,
look
I
subdued.
think the original one of
The original garment that
Mm.
Kaffe Fassett did, you mean, was more subdued?
No, I
the
have.
pattern is offered in a more subdued colourway. I'm
All right.
certain because somebody
Right.
at our knitting group, when our knitting group started in Thurston, had it knitted
Yeah.
in the same colours as it appeared
Okay.
on the leaflet.
Well, as I say, it's been published several times
Has
in
it?
several different places. So
It's been
so
revised
it
probably
could have.
to accommodate new,
Yes,
um,
that's right. New ranges of
new
yarn.
yarns. Yeah.
So somebody wrote about this on the web, on their blog. They were proposing to knit it or in the middle of knitting it, and it says 14 colours are knitted into this sweater, and at times there are 40 colour changes in a row.
Oh my goodness.
And she says, in Tarsia knitting at its best.
Please, please. Gosh.
across there.
So this is 1990, I think, or thereabouts, judging by the date of the Rowan magazine, if that was where it first appeared. So this is...
I'm bringing my leaflets
Oh, right, thank you, yes. So this is kind of
Getting
the
towards the
tail
end
end
of the craze,
of
yes.
the real popularity.
This is it that's on show now, the back. Is this can we see?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Inside?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it's beautifully neat. It's
So it's woven in.
It's woven in, yeah.
It's
It's actually not.
It's a combination of stranded and
Yes,
intarsia, isn't
yeah.
it?
But weaving rather than standing. Yes, it's very, very nicely made, that one. I don't know who actually knitted it. So this, I think, I don't know, but I think this is 1990s.
That's beautiful.
And this is sort of picture knitting getting more tasteful, I think. It's a lot more subtle.
Do you know what
and
the
it's
pattern
more-
is?
I don't, but I think it might have been a kit. I think it might have been an ermine kit. And it's knitted sideways, so you can see the colours go that way. And it is it's
Is it Rowan?
it's strand. I don't know. It's
It's in that
stranded
style.
knitting rather than intarsia, but actually it's all been woven in again. In fact, it might have been the same person who knitted that. I don't know.
Have you seen Alice Starmore's book, the Tudors? She did a Tudors book, Tudor Roses.
expensive one, a massive one with about.
It just
12
looks like,
pounds
you know, worthy of that kind of
Yeah.
book. It's in that kind of style. I
It's
think.
beautiful, that book. They
But-
had it at Blackpool
Mhm.
in the library there, she had it.
Mhm.
But I think this is a really nice design.
It
And
is.
Karen thought it was horrible. Said, "You're not taking that, are you?"
Did you like it?
Well, and Harriet doesn't like it.
No, she didn't like the cow cardigan either. But well,
It might
this,
be-
that was
and with
before I
the touch
watched
of
it. I
colour,
must admit.
where it's so muted in most places, and then there are these bands of
Yes.
colour. That's really clever design.
Yeah.
Very striking.
And yes, the colours are really interesting too. I mean, you've got this bright turquoise and then just a single row of pink there.
Going through, yeah.
It's really interesting.
Beautiful.
And I like the way that you get the vertical, the new colours coming vertically rather than horizontally, so it's a completely different look from usual
I
strand
think the
knits.
nicest part of it are the whelps and the clucks, actually.
Well, that's nice too. Right, so that was a sort of chronological survey. I'm going to finish up with a couple of seasonal ones. This was a kit by an unpronounceable company called what are they called?
Oh, yes.
Yes, called that.
I'll hold it.
Hold that.
Sheepswall. Sheeps's ball.
Something like that.
It's Icelandic or
yes.
something.
And it's got just so as you get the message.
He's a very cock-eyed polar bear.
So this is quite interesting in technique. So the polar bear is done in a different yarn from the snow. So although they're both white, they're actually
To make it more
the
fluffy.
texture.
Yeah.
I think it's this cotton mohair, it says, for the polar bear, and the features are all done in embroidery. And
the
the
outline
eyes
of the-
is done in, the outline is done in embroidery too. So there we are. That's a suitably wintry And then finally, we don't have really any Christmas knits as such.
No Christmas knits.
But we do have. We do have this one with Robin. And
Again, another clever design.
they are proper bubbles. So I guess that you could think of that as snow. And I do
These traps across the back. Oh, how amazing.
So there's this band of stranded knitting along the bottom for the bird tracks. So I think the robin is actually done in tarsia. This is stranded knitting, and then you've got the bobbles as well. Yes.
How do you do these bubbles?
Oh, ask Anne.
No, don't go into it. I'll tell you later.
Yes.
Back and forth.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Do you know anything? What do you know about
A bit of fluff.
You increase into a stitch and knit back and forth on the stitches that you've increased and develop, and then decrease and join back in.
Thank you.
pattern, anything like that? Do we know how old it is?
What?
Where it's from? How old it is? Do we know any of that?
No, afraid not. We might find the pattern one day, but I haven't found it yet.
Could I have a look at them as well?
Yes, yes. So we'll leave the jumpers on this table, and there's some spare white gloves if you want to come and have a look. And there's also quite a lot of patterns, magazines, books. So if you feel inspired to knit a tiger or anything like that, you can. And just to point out that picture knits are current as well. Maureen has passed me a copy of this Camping and Caravanning magazine, current.
Okay.
And you can send off for a pattern which has basically got this this
Oh, how amazing.
design of tents and caravans.
Have you sent for it? I wasn't going to, but Barbara wanted it.
Yes, and here we are, somebody wearing their
Tents and caravan jumper.
yes.
Oh, yeah, it's a yoga design, isn't it?
Sheila Kiggins. It's designed by Sheila Kiggins. There we go.
So it's
Useful.
yeah,
Well done, Sheila.
for anybody who wants to make the point that they're interested in camping and caravanning, that's obviously the one to knit.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, thank you everybody.
A quick one about swatches.
Julia is going to read